Hope everyone is good. Will be a shorter one today. Some stuff went on, so we had to start a little later, which is, a shorter one's fine. Shorter. There's not too much to talk about, generally speaking, anyway, to be fair. And we've not actually prepared any topics this week, so we'll do what we do. We'll just go on with it. We'll get on with it. It's what we do, mate. So, yeah. So those people that don't want to sit through a 2-hour one, today's your lucky day, I guess. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoys this. And first of all, like usual, Andrea, how are you, mate? How are things?
Good overall. I always say that, good overall. I don't know why. It's like my catchphrase at this point, overall. I really like that term, I remember when they interviewed Tom Felton and they asked him, what's your favorite English word? And he said, atrocious. Mine is overall. Probably is overall now. I don't know why. Good overall. I don't need to add overall, but anyway, that's the point we're at. But yeah, generally all right. Went to basketball yesterday night. We were playing in European Reggiana, lost against Murcia from Spain. Now we need to, by 1 point, we need to win there by 2 points at least. Next week the return leg, really difficult to be fair. Went to TV on Tuesday. I don't want to delve into that because some stuff happened, but yeah, I don't want to start a crusade regarding the state of control, and house football. But just want to see to see that I really agree. If people have watched All or Nothing Juventus, for example, one of the various All or Nothing series on football clubs, it's on Prime Video. There's a point where the then manager Andrea Pirlo of Juventus is taken in a meeting room before a press conference with the journalist by the two media officers, the two people in charge of communication and media, and PR with the journalist, at Juventus at the time, and the then director of football of Juventus, Paratici. And they basically say to him, you can expect this topic, this hard question, this difficult one. How do you plan to answer those? And they study a response, that's called media training and media briefing, in order to prepare a person working for the club, in that case, one of the faces of the club, the manager, to have a response. But that means you accept every question, every answer. And that's how it should be done, So by football clubs. That's all I'm gonna say. I just want to add that, I don't want to delve. People can realize what I mean, by looking into that. But yeah, dignity, moral dignity is always above everything else, and I think we did ourselves a favor. So yeah, but it was a great episode, great interview. We had the captain of Reggiana. He was very transparent. It was very straightforward, answered every question. So credits to him. Absolutely. It's not related to him. It was, of course, I've known him now for 8 years, but it was always trustworthy. But yeah, what about you, mate? I can see behind you that the weather is still good in the UK. Is it?
No, mate. It's
all
raining.
Right.
It's raining. Yeah. No, we had it actually. To be fair, start of the week was really good. To be fair, it was quite pleasant. But yesterday was hit and miss. Today, it's raining. Grey clouds, raining. Okay. It's a little warmer, which is all right. We can take small victories, but yeah, it's whatever, mate. It's always rainy on Thursdays, which is my longest day of the week at work as well. So get nice and wet tonight, no doubt, which is the best part of coaching. Love getting cold and wet every night. It's great fun. But yeah, apart from that, I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm not too bad, to be fair. I've just been talking to Leeds. Anton Stack has started a YouTube channel. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen that. Yeah. I haven't seen the video yet, but I've seen the Instagram story. But yeah, it's a good character. Honestly, he's a good character.
He's one of them people. I know for a fact. If I was born in his school, if I was from where he was from, or he was from where I'm from, and we're in the same year at school, we'd be great friends. Similar age as well. I think he's 1 year younger than us. So yeah, he seems like a funny guy. Honestly, he does. He seems like a good guy. He likes the game as well. So gaming and football, it's just me. That's me. So
same.
If Anton Stack's watching this, get on here, mate. I will have a chat.
maybe one day.
Yeah.
I know that it's really difficult to get players on these platforms, outside the official one. But yeah, we can organize a FC 26 FIFA tournament, and if Stack wants to join, or a Minecraft one of the games he plays, he's more than welcome.
Rocket League, I think.
Campaign,
Rocket League's his big game, yeah. But no, it's good to see.
Sorry.
No, me neither, mate. I did a little bit, but I was rubbish. It's good to see. I enjoy seeing other sides of footballers because they are people, and like you mentioned there about being media trained. Whenever you really see them in the media, it's quite trained, so it's good. I assume, look, if we go down or Stack doesn't play well, it'll be criticised, which is part and parcel of it. But I like it. I think it's good. It's not too in your face. He follows Gnonto a little bit, which is quite a funny part of it. Gnonto doesn't want to be filmed, and he's kind of following him around. But it's good fun, man. I enjoy it. It's the people at the end of the day. They have hobbies. They do things. He went to tennis. He went to play games. They went shopping. So.
Yeah, we can appreciate good people. Look at Gilavogi last season. He played a very little part, behind the scenes. And every time we've seen a video or speak, on or he was speaking, on the team, always a good influence for everyone, despite him barely playing, but with a perfect record, if I recall correctly. Because every time he was our lucky charm. Never lost, I think, with him on the pitch.
Yeah, true. Yeah, no, he came on and did the job every time, did he? Even if it was 2 minutes, he did the job. But yeah, apart from, watching, I went a bit off track there, but no, I've not been up to it. Just working out, mate, trying to get fit and healthy for the summer. Doing Scafell Pike, which is the biggest peak in England. Doing that in the summer with my friends. So we're going to do that, then Ben Nevis next year, and then hopefully the year after we're going to try all three.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. I've done Snowdon. Did that when I was at school. So, I think it was school or college.
Snowdon is Wells, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, in geography. Yes.
He's ready. But so I'm just trying to get in shape, man. Trying to feel good, feel better. I actually do, to be fair. I lost quite a lot of weight since last year, since the charity game. Actually, when I watched myself and I went, "Whoa!" You don't realize until you see yourself how much weight you've gained.
I know. I need to follow your
shape.
I need to follow your example, honestly, because I had one of my usual visits, 1 week ago, and the doctor, despite not being his field, he suggested me because they have IBS, basically irritable bowel syndrome. It's not very dramatic or the hard part, because it rarely affects me, these days. It's been 2015, I think, and 2 years ago when I had really had problems with losing kilograms, losing pounds, due to that. But apart from that, because it causes inflammation to parts of the body at times, and you're more tired compared to usual people. It's very common, honestly. It's not a very dramatic disease, but of course it can affect you, when you have the more impacting one in that sense. That's not my case, but it suggested me basically to go to a nutritionist, and also myself. I'm thinking, okay, nutritionist with a diet specific, the one in order to prevent inflammations to the body, for that reason. But combining that with, of course, a training program like you're doing with the gym. So yeah, I think I will follow your part in that regard, because it's been ages since the last time I've done some boxing nice. Only walks, basically. I need to do the weights, to reintroduce the weights now. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, walking's good as well. If you can aim for about 10,000 steps, 8 to 10,000 steps a day, it's pretty good exercise. Moderate exercise is pretty decent. So it's underrated. People always think it has to be high intensity. It doesn't. Moderate exercise is pretty. Being active consistently is important as well. But yeah, man, I don't even go to the gym. It's all, the gym's too expensive. That's. I think a lot of people have a problem with you paying, 30, 40 pounds a month for a gym here. It's too much. It's way too much. It's crazy. So I bought my own weights. I bought a bar. I've made kind of my own bench using some pillows from the chair behind me, which are quite thick. That's all I need. I'll go running if I need to. It's cheaper option.
Ben the Builder.
So, yeah, man.
Ben the Builder.
Ben the Builder, I know.
Ben the Builder.
Ben the Builder. Yeah, so that's me at the moment, working, then trying to get fit, trying to get in good shape. Getting that age now, Andrea, where we need to look after our bodies, for when we're older. So that's my focus finally. Probably 20 years too late, but
Yeah. We're turning 30, by the way, people, if you are guessing.
Yeah.
Doing a good service for us, mentioning that. But we are transparent, so the number 3 is gonna be introduced in our lives this season. It's a good number because January 3rd. Remember the date.
True. Yeah, we're old though. We're old. We have to accept that. It's what it is, mate. But look, I've got a baby face, so hopefully it'll stay like this for a few more years.
I've shaved.
How old are you? Yeah, how old are you? I always go 29. They go, what? Yeah, no. I don't know if it's a good thing or not. I don't know. Don't care really. But anyway, we'll talk about Leeds. I think the topic we're going to focus on today, obviously, as we mentioned, it's going to be shorter. We're going to look at the Sunderland games, and we're going to specifically look at the players that came in. We want to ask each individual, have they done enough to warrant a starting place, or even more minutes?
Not Norwich one.
Sorry, Norwich.
Don't worry.
Norwich. The FA Cup game against Norwich. 3-0 win.
It's always these animals, man, because black cards, then you go to the Canaries, and now we have the Eagles, It's the animals confusing,
Too many animals, mate. Too many animals. But Norwich. I think, I'll ask you quickly about the game, how you think it went, and then we'll have a deep discussion on each player that came into that, who people think should start, and we'll give our opinions on that. So, just generally speaking, mate. I mean, to be fair, I'll just quickly say 3-0 win, fine. I mean, I think the worry for me in the Birmingham game was we put a lot into that. A lot. We put a lot of work into that. I think in this one, we kind of didn't really need to. There were times they had a bit more of the ball. We could have been better. We could have upped the tempo a bit. But generally speaking, it felt like we got through that relatively simple. I don't know what you think about it.
Yeah, I think we sailed through, honestly. They weren't great. Norwich weren't great.
No.
They look like the Norwich that we played 2 years ago, despite being having very less talent compared to that playoff semi-final, But it looked on their side, it looked like a similar performance to the one where they lost 4-0, sorry. That night that could have hit that free kick, They were really all over the place, not good tactically, not good spacing, But we said through pretty easy compared to the Birmingham one. When I was looking at the starting 11, honestly, and I saw Ampadu, I said, "There's no way again. Give him a rest, honestly. He needs rest." But we don't have that depth, unfortunately. So our captain has to play every game. It's unfortunate because, especially, I remember that in 2 weeks' time we'll have. I'm saying we because you are already qualified. Lucky you. We'll have the playoffs for the World Cup, and Wales, of course, are going to be involved. If they get through, and Italy get through, the final will be Wales versus Italy in Cardiff, like this week for the Six Nations. Luckily, we can do another victory on Wales. It will be the first time we have three victories in the Six Nations exactly. In a very long time. I think probably even in our history. No, I think there was one time, but we are finally back also in rugby and baseball. We beat the USA and Mexico. I don't know how, honestly, but Italy has beat USA and Mexico in the Basketball World Classic. But the main difference was, of course, that I don't think Norwich put up a fight like Birmingham. The only time they put up a fight was when the referee was allowing them to literally smash into our players. There were times where their tackle were too hard, and I said, "Oh, look, that's the championship. That's what we experienced every week last season. With every player, targeted. When the ball got to Solomon, when the ball got to Pirot in those positions, that was the case, and it went back, But regarding the players, honestly, there were players that performed. But I think it was a pretty average performance, honestly. I don't think we needed to do extraordinary things, So I wouldn't call that the players that started in this game that are usually rotation players now. Even Sean Longstaff, I think, was the best one among the players that were given a chance compared to the ones that usually start in the starting 11. They weren't extraordinary, honestly. They were all right. Longstaff was the best one. Gnonto, honestly, I always like the effort, honestly, from Willie.
Yeah,
I always like it. He's a exemplary professional. He still lacks, the sharpness to beat his man. he has the capability to dribble his man. We've seen that in the past. I don't think he was very effective, honestly, against Norwich, in that regard. It was, especially on this is a love goal, he was making the right movements. And we already talked about VAR last week, so I don't want to reopen that window, but again, questionable decisions.
Rubbish.
I was thinking about a word with that we cannot say loudly here, but every week there's a bad decision, honestly, by the referees, and it's mind-boggling, honestly. But even Pirot, he scored. I'm very pleased that he scored. I'm very pleased that he scored. But before the goal, he scored on a counter attack, especially when we record the ball. It's usually the position, getting in the right position, a good shot from my side. But apart from that, really, in the Premier League, I don't think there's an opportunity for him to be effective. So I think very good the result, because of course we got through. We were facing a team mid-table. Of course, they're not extraordinary this season. But it wasn't an impressive game, honestly. I think everyone that played, even Tanaka, they didn't make a case, because we need to remember that we were facing that type of Norwich side. We weren't facing a Premier League team. I think every player that played, that was given a chance compared to the usual ones, they haven't shown something to be okay. Andrea wants him. I want him to start next week. No, honestly, I think now the hierarchies are pretty defined, and we need to keep it like that. Probably just because Justin is playing every game now, and there might be cause for Bijol, to re-enter the fold. But it's 50-50, honestly. It's 50-50. I think Bijol has proven himself, but only that one probably. Bijol in defense in certain games with Roden and Strauch, and in others, because of course Justin will prefer him on the wing, not as a right centre back. So I prefer, honestly, Bijol in the middle, Roden and Strauch, because Justin is doing all right, but it's adapted there. So it works in games and other games, but I prefer him as the right wing back, honestly. So only that. What about you? What about you, Mike?
Well, what we'll do, we'll go through each one we'll expand on each one. We'll start with Bijol. I agree. I think he's probably got the biggest case, and I think this is down to previous form. This is not necessarily down to the Norwich game. I think it's down to what he gives the team. Clearly, he's aerially dominant. He's aggressive, a decent marker as well. And then there's the box side of it, in both boxes, from set pieces, very effective. Although he doesn't get the goals necessarily, he's always seems to make first contact. He's good at keeping, if it's a heavy cross, for example, he's good at keeping it in the box or maintaining the pressure. And then defensively, again, relatively solid in terms of heading the ball and getting the ball away. A physical presence, and I think we lacked that a little bit at the back recently. So for me, I thought it was all right at Norwich. Again, I don't think he had a tough game to be able to express himself defensively. Really, I think it's quite easy for him, for all of them, to be fair. But for me, out of all of them, I'd say he's probably got the biggest shout, but mainly based on profile and what he was like before his injury, where I thought he actually found some decent form and was very solid for us. And if anything, an effective player for what we needed in that role at the back, in the back three. And then I go back to Justin, and Justin's been good, but Justin's our backup fullback predominantly, and we need a backup fullback on the bench. We have Byron, but he's not going to play in the Premier League, is it? I think that's established already. Only got 5 minutes against Norwich, so I think for me, Bijol needs to come back in with the back three that was good, really good for me before he got injured. With obviously Rodon and Strauch either side. Then obviously Bogle and Gudmundsson as wing backs. But Gudmundsson was really good against Norwich. I thought he was the one that probably stood out of all the performers. I think he was pretty decent. But for me, in terms of Bijol, I think he gives. And this happens a lot. And when a player's not there, we imagine they were perfect before injury. He wasn't perfect. There was times where he got spun too easily. He was overly aggressive. He didn't track his men. But that's, for me, the positive that you get from him in terms of what we need right now outweigh those mistakes. I know Strauch can do that. Rodon as well can, lose his man quite often. He's done it quite a lot in the last few weeks in terms of when crosses come into the box. But I think together they were a really good partnership. You've got a bit of everything. You've got good balance in there. You've got the the progressor in Rodon who can drive with it, who's a quick recovery runner as well to help them out. You've got the distributor in Pascal Strouk, who can play some really good passes down that left side. And then you've got Bijol, who's in the middle, who kind of just generals it. Yeah, big physical guy. He'll take care of the striker and deal with aerial balls pretty well. So I think they work well as a three. So for me, in terms of that, I think Bijol has the biggest claim. But then again, it's one of them where I think he should start. But if he doesn't, I'm not going to go on social media beforehand and lose my mind. We've still got good players where he's playing. It's not like Justin has been good. Let's clarify that. For me, it's more of a Bijol gives you something we don't have in the back three without him there. And that needs to be, especially in the running now, where we really need to be dirty, not dirty, we need to be horrible, physical, mentally strong. I think he gives that, definitely. And, he's decent on the ball as well. He's calm in possession, which always helps. So, yeah, for me, Bijol has the biggest claim to start. I don't know if you want to expand on what you said earlier on him, mate.
No, I agree with what you said, honestly. And I just want to resonate on the fact that, of course, I agree with you. I won't say, oh, look, you need to start. If Justin is picking, because Justin is performing. But like you said, we don't have a backup on the bench for the wing backs. So I think Gudmundsson is our established, of course, especially looking at what we spent in the summer. Starting a left wing back, Bogle on paper is our starting right wing back, but I think right now Justin has done so well that it's debatable.
Yeah,
like game time decision, and every fan would be right if you pick Bogle or if you pick Justin as the right wing back, And for play Justin, because at the start of the season, I remember us because of the us as a fan base. I mean, of course, questioning the signing of Justin, looking at how much we spent. I think it was around 10. Yeah,
10. Yeah.
Because we said, oh, he's always injured. We said as a fan base, again, I'm saying, people were saying, oh, he's always injured. Why did we spend $1 million on him? Of course, at Leicester, when he signed for us, there were fans saying, oh, good riddance. We finally let him go. Let's remember that this player got an England Cup under Gareth Southgate. I remember that game with the Puskas Arena. Justin and Bowen, I think, got their debut that day. So fair play to him because he was starting here. Yeah, we were starting here. And actually, Bogle was here. And now Justin is here. So it's a 50-50. Same as Bijol and Justin, because, again, Bornau, of course, ideally, if you are deciding to pick one between to pair with Rodon and Stark, it's between Bijol and Bornau. But fair play to Justin because he got a chance there when we were in an emergency. We didn't have anyone else capable to bring a back three that day apart from Rodon and Stark, I think, that day. So he sees that opportunity, and now he's in contention for a place in the back three too, apart from the one, along with the one in the on the wings. So for play to him, but again, I prefer, like I said, a natural one, a physical presence in the middle, allowing Rodon to drive with the ball too, and Pascal to distribute rather than Justin. I think Justin really can challenge Bogle for the starting spot on the right now, and that's fair. That's fair for both of them because they've both been great so far.
Yeah, it's a matter of them both being quite good, isn't it? It's not a matter of who's going to go in there. It's like, no, seriously, they've both been good. Who deserves that? It's a tough one for me. I think it is 50-50 with them two. I think they bring slightly different things. We know what they both can do, but yeah, it's a good discussion, definitely. And like you said, if it was one or the other in the wing back role at the weekend, I'd be fine with it and okay. But yeah, so that's Bijol. The one that we'll talk about the wingers next before we talk about the midfielders. The wingers, I'll go first on this because,
go for it.
For me, wingers are so important in a team, but they can also be the biggest liabilities if they're not used right. Wingers are very, and I say this as one and someone who's, I've explained before, I've done a lot of work with wingers. Wingers can be very, very selfish, but they also kind of have to be very selfish. I think the best wingers in the world are ones who are also team players, but they have a selfish streak in them where, the better option might be, the safer option might be, I'll pass it inside. But the best wingers in the world are the ones where they go, I can take them 2-on. And then they do it. They beat the men. They get the ball in the box. It's about end product as well. They have to believe when they get that ball, right, I'm going to get a shot off here. Might not look like it now, but I'm going to take him on. I'm going to cut it down the left. I'm going to cut inside, get a shot in. Those are the best wingers. Wingers are the players that need to create from nothing. Wingers are the players that need to get the balls into the box in wide areas. And wingers are the players that need to have kind of good spacing, good idea of where the runs are, where the space will be, you know, in terms of combinations as well. They're usually the quickest players, so they're the ones that can exploit spaces quicker than anyone else. They have to have that mentality. With our wingers, in terms of James and Gnonto, and I'll start with James, we know what James has got, and that is lightning pace, but also he's very good at using it off the ball instead of being really direct. So I always see James in this side as an option off the bench. I think that's the best. With his speed, naturally, it's very simple, but it's true. If you're quick and they're tired, you'll cause problems. Simple. You know, the end product might be missing at times, but he'll impact a game. You know he will. If you bring him on 65th, 70th minute, he'll impact a game. If we go more direct or we're struggling to maintain possession, there's always an option to go over or long. And last year in the Championship, he was really good in terms of output. But as we're seeing now, he's getting less time. Those shots he kind of cuts in with his left. They're not working anymore. There's more players in front of him. There's more people blocking it. The keepers are better. So for me, James's role in this team, which I think is an important role, should purely be an impact sub. But I think that's an important role, not diminishing it. I think it is important. And we need that. We need that character, that guy with the pace, with the directness to do that. And he isolates fullbacks. And if they're tired, and you've got a fullback who knows they cannot take their eye off this player for 1 second because of how quick he is, you'll get him behind. And we saw it against Forest, you know, when I was at the ground. When James came on, his end product was hit and miss. But instantly, you know, Forest had a bit of time on the ball. They started getting to it and brought James on. We went to him. We went direct past the fullback. And we just got more possession. We got more territory out of the pitch, if anything. So that's James. Now, Gnonto's, and again, I go back to what people said about Bijol, where they make out as this perfect player. No, football's a perfect player. I think Gnonto played okay. I'm seeing online that, and again, this is just my opinion, that he played excellent. I disagree. I don't think he was excellent. I don't think he was excellent at all. I thought he was fine. I don't think he did anything to damage his kind of role in the team. I don't think he did anything like that. What I will say about Gnonto before we get into the analysis, and I think it's always fair we say that he works very hard. I think his engine, when he comes on, he moves a lot. He's underappreciated off the ball. The amount of times he moves, he tries to find spaces. He wants to be on the ball. He does get in areas where he's required to be brave. He doesn't just get in easy areas. He gets in pockets inside. He works hard back as well. I like his attitude and mentality when he comes on. I do, in terms of wanting to get on the ball. I do like that, and I always have. My problem with Gnonto is what I said before about when he gets the ball. Yeah, he's too slow. He doesn't. If you get the ball anywhere in the final third, ideally as a winger, in the next 5 seconds, you want to be in the box or in and around the box, either getting a cross in or even getting a shot. Yeah, for me, he'll get the ball. His initial sprint's good, and then he'll stop. He'll slow. He'll get doubled up on, and the only option then really is to play back. Now, I get at times you need to do that. You do, of course, but there's so many times again where he's one-on-one, and this is respectful, you know, it's a Championship fullback. You have to beat your man on the outside. Coming on the inside is fine, but it cannot be a choreographed thing you do every single time, or you just become predictable. And you saw it when he cut inside. There was always 6 or 7 bodies in the way because they were sitting deep. The space was on the outside, and he has to do that more for me. There has to be quicker end product to when he's on the ball, because he does get in good areas. And for me, we're in the Premier League. We're going to be up against teams that can get into shape really quick. If someone's not doubled up on, they'll get him doubled up quickly. You have about, second he touches that ball, say in a wide area, he'll have about 2 seconds to make a decision on where to go, if that. In them 2 seconds, if you hesitate or you don't speed up, you slow down, then you've got to pass back and the move's gone. He needs to be quick and direct straight away. Win a corner, even if you lose the ball. If you're being direct and going at people, I'll be happier. And I think we need that. And for me, he's not giving us that. For the good things he does do, I've always said this. I like his combination play. I think it's decent. Pass and move. Yeah. But that needs to be combined with the directness as well. They have to be together. Because when he cuts inside, he'll play it out to the other wing sometimes. I like that. That's good. But that can't be the only thing he does. He has to beat his man more. I think it's simple as that. He has to beat his man more. You look at Somerville for West Ham. Every time he gets that ball, he's beating his man. He's direct. Yeah, he'll lose it sometimes. But then half the time, it'll lead in a shot, it'll lead in a chance, or it'll lead in a goal. Gnonto needs to do that for me. I don't know what you think about that, Andrea.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with that. I can see also a similar case for Okafor when he was playing. Yeah. He's been our best winger so far this season. The problem is that he's not a winger, he's a second striker. He's in terms of GA contribution, goal assist contribution, but I don't think when starting on the wing, anyone that played on that wing was excellent, because in the end, even Aronson thrived in a different position. Gnonto and James, when they played, they haven't been great so far this season. So honestly, we have a problem with wingers, and it's also something that contributed to us changing the formation to a 3-5-2, 3-4-3. When we're calling that, in that sense, because in the end, even when we're playing 3-4-3, it's not a 3-4-2 with two wingers. It's Aronson. He's on paper there, but goes behind Calvert-Lewin, and Okafor plays near, goes wide, but then, also covers the position like a two striking partnership, with one moving all around and the other one mainly on the left, of course, and a target 9, basically, an advance forward, going for aerial duels. But yeah, Gnonto, I agree with that. The directness isn't there at the minute. I think, again, the best season he's had at Leeds. Let's throw all the goal assists away, in that sense. But looking at the performance was when we got relegated, honestly, because he wasn't feeding players. He wasn't caring for anyone. It was just give me the ball and I will try to beat the man. Now his positioning needs to improve for me off the ball. The cuts of the ball, the follow-ups need to improve, because a lot of the time he isn't. There's a space, like James did it a lot last season, and he got quite a few goals doing that. Off the ball, when the ball is on the right, cut inside on the left, crowd the box.
Yeah.
Try to go behind your man or beat him going on the inside, the U-turn, they call it like that. So, yeah, it's a tricky one, because we all like the player, I think. In this podcast, we like the player. We like especially the effort, Yeah. And it wasn't a guarantee, it wasn't guaranteed. Because you need to remember where we started with Gnonto, where we restarted with Gnonto, because after getting relegated, as I mentioned, he asked to leave. There was this saga of his then agent advising him not to play. So people expected at least more will, more effort when he returned than the other players, because of what happened in the summer. And he did that, He wasn't always performing at top level, but the effort was always there, The effort was always there. It's a technical problem. He needs to ask himself, how can I return effective as it was, when I was 18 in 2022, 2023, when he arrived at Leeds, and I was playing in the Premier League back then. Now it's a different Premier League. It's more physical, more transitional. The problem is that he's good in 1-2s, but now he rarely follows up, off the ball. That's the thing. And same can be said for James. I agree. I think it's spot on what you said about him being an option off the bench, even more than Gnonto, honestly, because at least James, remember the Villa game? We were deep in our own half. We weren't going out on that fortress, the defensive line that we these two defensive lines we had entrenched, in front of our goal, in front of our box. So when we recovered the ball, we didn't have a sprinter for the counter. That's where we needed Dan James for me. It was perfect. Remember that a lot of goals he scored, at least many, not a lot, but many goals he scored when he was at Swansea. They were playing a different system compared to Leeds, and even goals that he scored against us when he was playing for Man United. Many of them came from a counter attack when they send the ball through to him and he was sprinting more than the others. That round of that clip where they dubbed with an Argentinian commentator, I think, of him sprinting from box to box, with the ball, and then I think scoring when he was at Swansea, and then there's the commentator saying like a Formula 1 car,
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's an option, but again, in the Premier League, both of them, they don't give you the sharpness. That's the thing. It's not down to them. We know the type of players they are, But when you're talking about Somerville, for example, that Somerville has adapted. When you're talking about Jorginho, when you're talking about other players like the wingers that Forest have, for example, Danendoye, Bakva, these players, that they are dribblers that they can literally take the man on. That's not the case now for Dan James, because the type of player he is, it's more of a send me through of the ball. I will be there, give him the ball there, I will be there, and I will be effective in that area, especially on the counter, or especially when you send me through on the wing with a through ball. Gnonto was a dribbler, but hasn't been a consistent dribbler in the last. He isn't a Somerville, he isn't a Manuel Solomon. I think Gnonto can really study a lot and learn a lot from Baron Solomon last season, because he can model his game compared to Mano's game and adapt it to the Premier League. Because now he's not cutting in, and it's unfortunate because you can see that he's really trying hard. But even if you look at his game time, we play a different system, but he was playing as a second striker for the under 21, so he can challenge Okafor, he can challenge Aronson in certain games, even as an option off the bench. If you don't want to introduce a winger, you can at least play him as a second striker. But so far, there's not a viable option, because we cannot see it coming. Because what has he done to make you think, okay, we have an option, we know what he can do if you play him ahead of Okafor, or you sub him in when Okafor is tired in the second striker position? Nothing, honestly. I remember the Arsenal game. It's very similar to Norwich. He tries to do that, but when it is often double, or he often loses the physical battle. But at least there's a star there. There's a player that is willing to improve. That is a player that is trying to reverse the situation. So good luck to him, because you cannot question his professionalism and unquestionable commitment to the cause.
Yeah, no, I understand. I bet from his perspective, he's annoyed at the lack of game and minutes. I bet he is. But he does come on and he gives it effort every time. Never deny that. But just from a skill perspective on him, one thing I think he needs to do, and I genuinely, it's simple, but I think he'll elevate his game. I think he needs to add a skill. Genuinely, I think to create separation, or to get that first 2 or 3 meters between you and the defender, whether that's a drop the shoulder, where you drop the shoulder, go one way, go the other, a step over, or even like a ball roll, just a little skill to put off the defender, make him think you're going one way. Because when he cuts inside, there's no threat that he's going to go back on the outside. And as a defender, although he might be quicker than you, might get a shot off, it's quite not easy to mark, but he's not going to come on the outside here. I can force him inside into bodies, that's fine. For me, he needs that little skill in there where he can go act like he's going on the inside, then quickly shift to the outside. And he's not got that. And I actually think, that'd be something he can develop. I think that'd help him a lot in 1v1 situations. And then he'd get more confidence and going on the outside. And then after that, you can develop your left foot just to put a ball into a certain area, then you're being a threat. So I think that's what he needs to do. I think it's just a little skill thing there that can help his game. I do, because he doesn't do that. He kind of just relies on his first 2 or 3 meter pace to get past the defender. Whereas if he can do a little skill in there, that can really help put the defender off. So there's a little thing for Gnonto if he's watching. Yeah. Midfielders. So we'll end on midfielders. I think they're the two, yeah. So it's Tanaka and Longstaff.
Tanaka and Longstaff, yeah.
We'll start with Tanaka. And this is how hopefully people know we're not biased on this channel, because I love Tanaka. I think he's a fantastic player. And he has been really good this season at points. I think people are forgetting the games. He has played really well. But in his last appearance in the league, he was poor. And against Norwich, I weren't impressed, I'll be honest. I thought he was all right. But he, in these games, and I know he's not played too much, but for me, that's irrelevant because when he started last season in the Championship, he hadn't played before that. Remember when he came in and he was so good and he'd not played then? Now we're playing a Championship team and he's not played that much this season, but he's still played quite a bit. He doesn't look confident. He doesn't look assured. He's not really on the ball. He's not really doing his little turns, his little spins that he used to do. It feels like it's a hot potato. He's just trying to get the ball away quickly as possible. The detail on his pass isn't even the same. It's a little bobbly at times, a little rushed. He's still Tanaka. He still does good things in the game. He's still moving quite well. But I think he's in a shell of kind of safety right now. He just wants to do the easy, quick, safe thing, which, again, is good. But you need to add that with the risk-taking that he had before at times. Because we need that. He's the balance in the team. He's not the one that's just going to pass it back, slow it down. We need him to speed it up, to take those risky passes. Just didn't think we got enough of that, to be honest. I don't think it's poor, but I wanted more. I wanted the Championship Tanaka to come through, or even the early season Tanaka in the Premier League. That confident player, wants the ball every 3 or 4 seconds. He always wants it. He's always moving. He was kind of involved in the build-up once, whereas he'd usually be involved 2 or 3 times. I don't know what you think, mate.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think Farke didn't do a good. Didn't put him in the right situation, honestly, because in the end he was playing basically as the playmaker. He was playing his in Ampadu's role, and I think in the end Tanaka, from what we've seen him in this season and a half, and in 2 season and a half, basically. No, 1 season and a half. Sorry,
1.5. Yeah,
we got it there in the end. From what he's seen so far, I think he works perfectly with number 6 next to him, a playmaker. He's more of a link-up player, but as the natural number 6, honestly, I don't think in English football can work. Of course, there's other examples, but in other leagues, I think he'd be alright as the link-up, not number 6. But in this case, you have Ampadu, and I think Tanaka can be the link-up 8, especially in tricky situations, going near the ball, providing passing option, be the one capable of running a little bit with the ball to get into these specific spaces, elude the pressure, for example. But in the 6, against Norwich, he wasn't great. It didn't impress, honestly. So maybe we can also learn and read that, okay, if you look on paper, we have as number 6, Tanaka, Ampadu, Stack, Gruev on paper. But 2 of them, Farke considers them as number 8 now because they are performing well. We all know that Stack was playing in the 6, as Nagelsmann reminded us last week, talking about Stack and rumors about a possible call-up involvement with Germany. Gruev now is playing a different position. Of course, they are not box-to-box players. Stack is playing, if we want to use a FC 26 term, as a half winger, in no man's land, between the two, between the forwards and the other midfielders. But yeah, Tanaka, I don't know what the path for him now, what lies ahead for him, because he's been given chances, to be fair. He didn't impress in the last appearances he made off the bench. He didn't impress at Birmingham from the start. He didn't impress at Norwich. That's two Championship team, 2 games where he did not impress. So before that, we were saying that he needs to play more. Tanaka needs to play more, but players go through periods. He had a great period towards the end of the autumn. And the start of the winter. He was effective both as a starter and off the bench. Now he's having an average negative period. Does he have the strength and technical ability, the mental strength and the technical ability to get out of this period and turn this negative period into a positive one again? Yes, I think he has, but he really needs to seize the next opportunities he will have off the bench. Otherwise, he will, with the return of Longstaff, even more. He will, and Gruev performing well out of position. as not as a typical 6, but as a again trying to play in that position as a link-up player, as a conservative midfielder in a certain sense. He has players now that have proven their case, and with Longstaff returning now, it's between Longstaff and Tanaka for sub. The first sub role behind the 3 starting, in midfield, or I play the 3-5-2. So he needs to really seize the next opportunity. Otherwise, we'll have Longstaff as the first option off the bench for me.
Yeah, I agree. And then,
especially after this game, for the lovers of stats,
it's a very competitive midfield. I think that's the reason. It's a very competitive midfield, and in order to get in there, you have to be better than the 3, and the 3 are playing relatively decent every week. But mainly, the role he would play, you have to be better than probably Stack or even Gruev, who's outperforming in his role. But that's I just don't think he did enough. But we'll see. Yeah. Time will tell. There's a lot of games coming up. It's important, so we need these players. Very quickly, mate, if we can, just on Longstaff. What do you think? I'll just say I thought what a finish, by the way. Great goal. You got to respect a good goal, aren't you, sometimes? But yeah, what do you think about him?
Yeah, good finish. Honestly, great. Not great finish overall. Yeah. But apart from that, he still looks rusty. He still looks not 100%. So he still needs time to return. I think he works better probably in a midfield duo, like it was the case against Norwich. I think if the natural one for me is Tanaka for Gruev and Longstaff as an alternative to Stack, but I don't think effectively it can be an all-around. It can be involved as much as Stack does, on both ends of the pitch, defensively, offensively. So as an alternative to Stack in that position, the one trying to stay a little bit higher, we've seen. I remember the Forest game with Longstaff playing in it at the City ground. He then struggles with pace to return. We've seen him rusty, especially after this injury, even more slower in a certain sense. So he's still not at his 100%. He is an experienced player. We've seen that. He knows what we need in certain situations, especially in that cup game. We've seen was in the right position, made a couple of good tackles when he needed to pace his timing. But apart from that, honestly, same as Tanaka, I wasn't really impressed. I set that down to rustiness, honestly, because it still doesn't look. And the problem is that he's returned now for a while now, but it still doesn't look properly with his natural pace, with his natural intensity. He looked like a player that just returned from injury. And that's the thing, So I think he still needs time, but same as Tanaka, he will need to seize the opportunity that he has, because I think he needs to rebuild his match fitness. He looked all right, but I remember at Newcastle, a more intense, a more box-to-box Longstaff. And apart from the start of the season, a couple of games, I don't think we've seen that Longstaff yet at Leeds. I want to see that kind of Longstaff. He was a top one, especially in the early years at Newcastle. A very balanced one, very smart one. But as an alternative to Stack, if Farke plans to play him as an alternative to Stack, of course, he cannot offer you what Stack offers. They are completely different players.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, honestly. I expected better from him too, despite the goal, because it was a good finish. But overall, of course, we are reasoning, not just looking at the Norwich game. We are reasoning in perspective like, oh, yeah, he showed me those things, but okay, let's try to think these things, apply these things to a Premier League type of game. Will that work? I don't know. So yeah, again, I think we have established now that our midfield trio is Ampadu, Gruev, Ampel, and Stack, and we'll see what happens. But Longstaff is still looks rusty to me. Still look rusty after this injury.
And I just want to quickly think, because I know people say, well, he should Tanaka should come in for Gruev. I think the reason he's not is based on his duels. Tanaka lost a lot of duels against Norwich. He lost duels. That can happen, and this is against a championship team. I think that's the bare minimum Farke needs from that player in that role. They don't have to be ridiculously good defensively, but they have to win the duels. And he lost a few duels. That's what annoyed me the most, to be fair. So that's something that's important in that role, right? So, yeah.
If you cannot do it against a mid-table side in the Championship, we've seen Birmingham, we've seen Norwich. You're not giving talks to Farke. We also there's also a player that we have forgotten because it can apply both to the wingers and attacking midfielders. We talk about midfielders and wingers. It's Buonanotte, of course.
Yeah,
turned out to be so far not a good signing, of course, because he cannot get a game. He cannot get a minute. The last change that we had for 5 minutes was Sam Barham. Probably was the right moment to test Buonanotte, but probably he doesn't deserve to do that right now. He hasn't turned it, probably. But yeah, it's questionable because that's the only offensive signing that we made in the window.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's the only sign that we made in the window. The offensive one is actually just the only one that we made. Farke had asked for certain players, and eventually the club got him Buonanotte, but hasn't worked out. Probably picked the wrong player. I don't know if it's attitude, but he wasn't playing at Chelsea. Now he isn't playing at Leeds. When he arrived, he said, "I want to give talks to Scaloni." Not these specific words, but try to get in the World Cup squad. Now he needs to bring that Argentinian garra, that Argentinian fight that every one of them has inside them, and really try to turn his fortune around, because there's a player there. We've seen him at Brighton and Leicester. So very, very strange to see a name like Buonanotte not getting a single minute. But yeah, apart from him, I think the last ones that we have made, if you want to say something about, of course, then we just have Bornau and we talked about Bijol, Bornau and Perry, the final two ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Buonanotte, and look, super talented player, no doubt. I think he is. That's why when he came in, I was excited, and that we actually brought a winger in or an attacking midfielder in, and Buonanotte is super talented. But he's not played hardly a game this season. Hardly a single minute in the Premier League. I think he played in the Cup twice. Hardly a single minute in the Premier League, and that's in months. That's not weeks. That's months. So, I mean, to go back to our recruitment, Farke always said it's hard to bring players in January because most of them have not played. So, if that's the scope of why we're not bringing players in, why did that not apply for Buonanotte, who hadn't played? I think there is players that did play that we could have brought in, but why did we bring him in then if he hadn't played? I think it went against what our method was. I don't know why. Look, there's still less than 10 games left, but maybe for the last 5 or 6, if he can just get ready for then, they could be really important and he could help us out. But the fact of the matter is, he's not played hardly at all. He's probably months behind sharpness. Months. In the middle of a season as well, by the way. He's come in the middle of the season when everyone's sharp, everyone's ready to play and compete. And he's not. He can't be because he's not played. He's not in a competitive mindset. He has to get up to sharpness first at training, and that can take months. He's literally... he's been a trainer for the last few months since the start of the season. That's all he's done. He's not played a competitive game, really, apart from the Cup. So... maybe a few in Europe as well, I can't remember, but he didn't play a lot at all. So he's behind everyone, and if he wants to make the Argentina squad, then he should have not gone to Chelsea. I have a problem with this, I do, and it's not him. It's young players who are rushing to get to the top. I think it rarely works.
Yeah, look at Nico Pass. Where is he playing?
Yeah,
Como.
Yeah.
But he's
great move.
Yeah. It will move back to Real Madrid, I think, with the recompra, the buyback next summer. But eventually, how did he get back to Real Madrid? By playing 2 seasons on loan season at Como with the recompra buyback clause, And he proved a point to them, like, okay, you didn't decide to keep me at Real Madrid, give me a chance, But you still believe in me. I still have a chance to get back to Real Madrid. Yeah, I will perform. So 2 seasons, and now they will buy him back, next summer. 100%. Yeah.
When we called him up in the summer, and this could be for any club, by the way. I'm not just talking about Leeds and Buonanotte. This is just the example, obviously. When we called him up in the summer, Premier League, you will play. We want you here. Da 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 da. Okay, we need a creator. You're the man. All right. He should have been there straight away. The second Chelsea came in, he should have gone, thank you, but I don't think I'm ready for that yet. I am guaranteed, or not guaranteed, but I will play here at Leeds. I will get minutes. They've just Ramazani's gone out. I think I'm better than these wingers. I think I will play. I think I can get in the squad. Okafor's proven it. He's played quite a lot of minutes before his injury. Whether or not he could have done the same. But whether it's him or the agent or the decision making, whatever it is, doesn't matter. He went to Chelsea where he was never going to play. He was at Leicester last year and didn't play the second half of the season because obviously he fell out with the manager and stuff like that. But this was a great opportunity for him to come to Leeds, play, get minutes, and really put his name in the hat for the World Cup. Now he's in a position, he's not even getting in our subs.
Yeah.
For me, it's a shame. He's super talented, and hopefully next year it works out for him wherever he goes. But I hope he makes the right decision.
Go to Italy for me.
Yeah, he needs to stop going for these top moves. A lot of young players do it, and it's so frustrating. And Nico Paz is a great example. Even you could look at Rafinha to a certain extent. He knew he wasn't going to be at Leeds for long, but he knew when he'd come to Leeds, he'd put everything into it, and he'd get that move. And look at him now; he's one of the best players in the world. So. Bad move for him.
And people still act like, how did Leeds get Rafinha? We made that Rafinha,
Yeah.
We made that Rafinha. When he arrived, he was already great at Leeds.
We gave him a good platform.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People act like, Rafinha just exploded at Barcelona. How was it at Leeds? Like it was some journeyman that we found at Leeds for no reason. Yeah. People tend to rewrite history, apparently.
Yeah.
Like to.
But yeah, so that's it for me. A lot of young players. It's so many go to Chelsea as well, but they end up getting loaned for 3 or 4 seasons.
On loan from Brighton too. That's funny, honestly.
Yeah.
A player from Brighton finished below. They're now below in terms of budget, etc. They send him a player on loan to Chelsea. So
it's mental. Yeah, a player that wouldn't get in the Brighton squad. At the start of the season because they had good players there. Went to a team that was going to finish higher than them with more depth, more wingers, more attacking players, spend loads of money. Yeah. It's a shame because he's such a talented player and I really like him. It's great to watch when I used to watch him, when he played for Leicester. He's really good to watch. Hopefully, again, like I said, he can the next 2 or 3 weeks get fit and then for the last 6 games he can help us out. That's what I'm hoping. But we'll see. But yeah, on Perry, to be honest, mate, I don't think he had much to do. Quite a simple game from what I remember. I think it's still stick with Darlow, to be fair. That's his place now. Now, yeah, I love that song. But now, for me, again, I think he was ill. I think I saw, which is fair enough. So, bench option, mate. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Final bench option on the bench for me.
Yeah.
Not final bench option in terms of defense, not final bench option. Bench.
But yeah, we'll leave it there. I think we're good. We're good an hour.
Yeah. I think we're good. We can just say, of course, that to close this episode, this short one, I think that probably the short one we have done.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the time, and it's 58 minutes, so just to make it an hour, I'm trying to talk to arrive to the hour mark. But yeah, I think we even a point would be a good result in Selhurst Park for me.
Okay.
What about you, man? I think we need to play Bijol because of Strand Larsen. Honestly, because he's done good jobs on strikers of other teams, in the past. And thinking about Brentford, and thinking about Chelsea. This not Chelsea because he got sent off in London. I'm thinking about the other game, the first one. But yeah, he's proven himself, against the top strikers, So I think with the 8 of Strand Larsen, I would prefer Bijol. But apart from that, I'm not change team compared to the previous games against Sunderland, because in the end, I think we were really unlucky with both Man City and Sunderland. We really deserved to lose on both occasions. For me, we were not.
Yeah, I agree. I think the point would be good away at Palace. They've shown some form recently. They look like a decent side for Strand Larsen. Brentford at home after that. people still underestimate the 7th in the Premier League. They're a good team. Brentford have some good players. They're a good team. You know, one of the coaches I coach with is a Brentford fan, and he says we're a good team, we're underrated. So that'll be a tough one at home, but it could be a pivotal moment in the season. Then Man United away, we never do well there, but you never know. And then Wolves at home. I know they've refound form, but that is an opportunity. I take a point.
And with Wolves, you know, they have a free mind now. They know that they are down, so they are playing with freedom. Yeah, so you will take a point, definitely, you were saying.
At Palace, yeah.
At Palace, yeah.
But you know what? I want to see an encouraging performance as well. I don't want to see a drab point. I want to see us play well. I need that confidence back, I think. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Good hour, decent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go eat some food and go to work.
Yeah, I'm gonna chill a bit, you know.
Chill out, yeah.
Chill out a bit, you know. I need to do that at times, you know. It's good for the well-being. Yeah.
I'll say I think you're on Jersey later, but this will probably go out. It might go out Friday. So anyway,
it'll be on
disclaimer. Yeah. It depends how long it takes. It depends how long my computer decides to, you know, render the video, because it usually takes an hour or 2 hours. It's kind of anywhere between it. So yeah, so it might be on Jersey. So check out that on Jersey's channel. Obviously, you guys know about that, but I don't know when that'll be. So it could be tonight, or it could be.
I need to do the thumbnail too before I chill. So yeah.
True. Anyway, right. Pleasure as always, Andrea. Thank you for that.
Always fun.
Enjoy your afternoon. I hope everyone enjoyed this shorter one. They won't all be like this, so don't get used to it. But yeah, see you guys in a bit. Bye bye.